Ah, remasters, don't you love them? Well, sometimes we don't all get the remasters that we really want, and specifically, the PlayStation 3 has a bevy of exclusives that unfortunately never got remastered. While we did see games like Uncharted 1 to 3 get remastered, The Last of Us, there have been many high-quality PlayStation 3 exclusives that have never been remastered, and the unfortunate thing is, it's very hard to actually preserve these games, because yes, while there is a PlayStation 3 emulator, PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility is not yet a reality, and PlayStation Now is a streaming service that not everybody wants to take advantage of. So, in this video, I want to take a look at 10 awesome PlayStation 3 exclusives that have yet to receive a remaster, and I think all of these games, have they get a remaster, if they get a remaster, they would sell very, very well, but ultimately, it is going to come down to the publishers and the developers, because not all of them are Sony first-party releases. But without further ado, let's get right into it, and let's start off with a Sony-published title, and that is Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction. And by the way, only one game per franchise. It's the entire franchise I want ported, so get that right as well. So, Ratchet & Clank Future, just the entire Future franchise. We're talking Tools of Destruction, we're talking Crack in Time. These games were incredible. These were some of the very first PlayStation 3 games that I really, really enjoyed. I remember the lead up to Tools of Destruction, people were saying it was a Pixar movie come to life. And, you know, maybe it didn't go that far, but it looked damn good. And Future has an incredible storyline attached to it as well. It really fleshed out the character of Ratchet and added a lot of depth to the story of Ratchet & Clank. And I just love these games. Tools of Destruction was great. Crack in Time was great. There was Into the Nexus. There was Future Quest for Booty. If we can get all four of those compiled into one collection, I would be incredibly happy. Of course, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is on the horizon, so now would be a great time to do this. But let's see if that will come to fruition. Okay, next up is one that I talk about often, Infamous. The fact we cannot preserve Infamous, God, that actually makes me sick to my stomach. I'm talking Infamous 1, I'm talking Infamous 2, and I am also talking Infamous Festival of Blood. These games are incredible. Infamous 1 in particular had an incredible story. A lot of people thought Infamous 2 was a better game. They were both awesome. Infamous 1 to me, I remember that 2009 war between Infamous and Prototype, and Infamous without a doubt turned out to be the better game, but yeah, very nostalgic with this franchise. Loved both of the games. Infamous 1, again, incredible. Infamous 2, really good as well. Incredible storytelling in these games as well. And Festival of Blood was a nice diversion as well. Of course, Second Son came out on the PS4, but I wouldn't say Second Son is as good as Infamous 1 or 2, and most people would agree with me on that, so Infamous 1 and 2 absolutely need to be preserved in some form. Next up, big fan of the Tales of games, and unfortunately, one of my favorite Tales of franchises in Tales of Xillia 1 and 2 are only available on the PlayStation 3. Tales of is a franchise that is very, very consistent, and these ones were really good. I really like Tales of Xillia. You had two playable main characters. Tales of Xillia 2 is really good as well, following up on the first title. Just really well-made JRPGs from the Namco Tales studio on Bandai Namco. Get on it. Tales of is, in my opinion, more popular than ever. Bundle in Xillia 1 and 2 in a collection. Charge $50 for it for all I care. I would, and many others would buy the hell out of it. Okay, next up, here is one that maybe some of you guys are going to be surprised that I mentioned. However, this is an awesome game, and it ties into something that's going to happen in 2020 or 2021. You ever heard of a Bleach Soul Resurrection? Yes, Bleach. The anime got a really good video game in Bleach Soul Resurrection. This is a game that I quite enjoyed. Look, it didn't get a great Metacritic score, but this is one that I did want to mention because Bleach is, of course, getting a continuation in 2020 or 2021. It was supposed to be 2020, and then obviously the world went to hell. This one didn't get stellar reviews, I mean, 58 on Metacritic, but I really enjoyed Bleach Soul Resurrection, and look, people's expectation on anime games is usually a little bit lower than every other game, and I'm a giant Bleach fan, so I love Soul Resurrection. I had a great time with it, so this is kind of like a personal bias that I want to throw on the list. This one was published by NIS America, and it's Bleach at the end of the day. Either remaster Soul Resurrection or give me a goddamn new Bleach game. That new anime is going to be huge. The 1,000-Year Blood War arc was pretty good until the end, and it fleshed out a lot of great characters, but this is one that I would also like to be seen preserved. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on this one, but this is a personal bias, and I wanted to make this evident on the list that I do represent Bleach Soul Resurrection. Alright, next up, another great one, 3D Dog Game Heroes. This one was so awesome. This is a game that just intentionally presented itself in an old-school way using voxel-based graphics in a 3D environment to emulate the 2D graphics of earlier games. This was so enjoyable. I remember when it came out back in 2010, You know, at that point, I wasn't big on playing games that presented themselves in this style of manner, but this is one that harkened back to old school titles, and I had a great time with this one. And this is a game that so many people have just forgotten about. Again, another game that I would love to see make a comeback. This one was published by Atlas USA. I don't know how well this would sell in the form of a remaster, but it was a great game, and I'd love to see it make a comeback. If you know, release it digitally at $19.99 or $29.99, I do think a lot of people would end up snagging it because it was a great game. So let's see if we can make that happen at some point. Next up, this should be a no-brainer. The fact that this game has not been preserved, again, another one that makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. That is Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. We need to preserve this game, guys. I don't know how we're going to do it because it's Konami, but we need to preserve MGS4. Konami, put your bitterness towards, you know, Metal Gear aside, or however you feel about it. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots was arguably the best PlayStation 3 game of all time, and it was arguably, to many people, the best Metal Gear Solid game of all time. It was an incredible story, and it's so consequential to the entirety of Metal Gear Solid. Look, I want the entire collection to come on over to the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, but Metal Gear Solid 4 in particular is so hard to play. The only way you're really going to play it is if you have a PlayStation 3 or you have PCS3. I believe high-end PCs can emulate the game, but dude, it's Metal Gear Solid 4. Remaster the game, remake the game, whatever you gotta do. Metal Gear Solid 4 is a game that, again, I implore, it must be preserved. I don't care about Metal Gear Online. You don't even have to include that. Metal Gear Solid 4 in itself absolutely needs to be a game that people can go back to and play, because it's literally one of those once-in-a-decade type games. It's at that quality level where, yeah, the fact that we can't easily go back and play MGS4, that is actually kind of disgusting. Alright, next up, Resistance as a whole. Resistance Fall of Man, Resistance 2, Resistance 3. Insomniac did a terrific job with this game. I don't know if Insomniac is not big on remasters because we didn't get Ratchet and Clank Future remastered, but Resistance was a great franchise. Resistance Fall of Man, obviously, the iconic PlayStation 3 launch title. Resistance 2, a great game in 2008 where you had crazy 64-player multiplayer, and Resistance 3 was great. Look, if you don't even want to do multiplayer, at the very least, price it accordingly and bundle all the 3 campaigns together and let me buy that. Hell, throw in Resistance Retribution while you're at it, and that would be a very compelling collection. Even if you strip away the multiplayer, I would buy this for a compelling price point. If you do, you know, rip away the multiplayer. At that point, you can't charge $60 for the game because it's just goddamn campaigns, but if you throw in the campaigns, or I mean, if you throw in the multiplayers as well, particularly Resistance 2, boy oh boy, are we talking then. But I know that might not be feasible. At the very least, let me play through the campaigns again. So yeah, definitely want those in a collection. Again, alongside Resistance Retribution would be awesome as well. Next up, here's a game that a lot of people have forgotten about. 2007's action RPG Folklore. Folklore was another one of the early PlayStation 3 titles that really caught my attention. This is one that I have the foggiest memory of, but I remember really enjoying it, and you're talking about me being like 11 or 12 years old when this game came out. It was visually a very, very compelling title. It had some interesting gameplay. I remember really getting into the main 2 characters, but guess what? The only way I can play this game again is if I dig out my archaic PlayStation 3, I buy the Folklore disc, pop it in, and play it on my PlayStation 3. Hell no, Folklore should be a game I can go back to and play it whenever I want, because I remember it being a great game. What did Metacritic give it? It was a 75 out of 100. Well, to me, I remember enjoying it more, but it was a great game, and I want to go back and play it. Alright, next up, another one world might have forgotten about, Heavenly Sword. A lot of people see Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice as a spiritual successor to Heavenly Sword. Heavenly Sword, a lot of people compared that to God of War. This is a game which I don't know how feasible doing a remaster is. It was developed by Ninja Theory. It was published by Sony, so I don't know how the licensing agreement in that regard worked, but Heavenly Sword was a fantastic game. Yes, it was a very, very short. That was really the only issue with the game. It was like 4 hours long, and they were asking you $60. So yes, that wasn't great, but if you remaster the game and charge, you know, $30, $40 for it, hell, I'd be all over it, and I want to go back and experience Nariko's story. So yeah, this is one that I would love to see in another game that so many people have forgotten about. And lastly, if you guys know me, you know this one was coming. Boy oh boy, Killzone 2 and Killzone 3, particularly Killzone 2. Man, okay, this one is unlike Resistance, where if you remaster Killzone 2 and 3, you better give me the goddamn multiplayer, but Killzone 2 is a game I am so incredibly nostalgic with. I remember this came out February of 2009, and I got it day one. However, I didn't really get super invested into this game until summer break of that year, and then it was just over for me. It was literally staying up every night until 5 a.m. playing Killzone 2, and maybe getting a little break to play like Infamous and some other games that released in the summer of 09, but Killzone 2, I put so many hours into this game. I was a monster at this game. Yeah, I know, not to talk myself up, but you know, PlayStation needs more compelling multiplayer experiences. If you don't want to do a new one, how about you just give me Killzone 2? Launch up those servers again, and let's go ham on Killzone 2 and Killzone 3. The campaigns were really good as well. I think these games are due for a remaster. Shadowfall wasn't the greatest experience, but let's put Killzone 2 and 3 in a collection, remind people how great Killzone was, and I think this could do really, really well from a commercial standpoint. And selfishly, I want to go back and play this game. Killzone 2 had a 91 on Metacritic, to give you guys an idea of what critics thought. So obviously, they enjoyed it. I did enjoy Killzone 2 more than Killzone 3, but I had a great time with Killzone 3 as well, so they should just put both of them in a collection, relaunch those multiplayer servers, and let me go at it. Hey, if the guys over on Xbox can get Halo Master Chief Collection, why can't I get Killzone 2 and 3 with the multiplayer? I guarantee you people would really, really enjoy that. But that's going to conclude this video. This is my 10 game wish list. These are all exclusives. These are all games that have yet to be preserved, and you cannot play them unless you dig up your PlayStation 3 and play them that way and have the disc. Maybe some of them are on PlayStation now. I believe like Infamous 1 and 2 is. A couple of the other games might be, but outside of that, these games are not preserved. You can't play them. It's unfortunate to think about, especially in a case like Metal Gear Solid 4, like one of the greatest games of all time. We can't preserve that game. We absolutely should. And these games, I implore whoever is in charge, let's get these games remastered. Let's get these games ported. Let's get these games on PS4, PS5. Hell, put it out everywhere. I don't really care. Just let us preserve these games and enjoy these games for years to come. But that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.